The role of women in mediation and peace cannot be overemphasized. From the displaced women displaced by the Boko Haram and armed bandits in Niger State, the terrorism in Borno State, the Southeast unknown gunmen, displacing women and children, the militants in the Niger Delta, Heather's crisis in Benue, the need to bring women to the table is so important now. Countries like Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa, Namibia have put their countries in the forefront by having women in the policymaking conversations, shaping the discourse and championing pro-gender policies and institutional interventions.
A woman is not supposed to talk before the men. The woman is not supposed to stand up and address the community. The woman is supposed to be submissive to the man. So all this is denying them the opportunity to take part in decision making.
We are the victims often when conflicts happen. We are those targeted. We are those raped. We are those who lose our means of livelihoods. We are the ones affected when our family members are killed. We are the ones that are left to pick up the pieces when we're displaced from conflict.
We have become comfortable with the death of particular bodies of black and brown people, bodies of women and children, and bodies of the poor.
According to the United Nations estimates, about 2.2 million IDPs, 531,000 women, 423,000 men, 677,000 girls and 569,000 boys were displaced in the Northeast as of December 2021, and 890,000 are in IDP camps. Women face mental and sexual health challenges in the context of limited access to quality health care and justice. Inconsistent humanitarian support has led to a cycle of food and nutrition insecurity, economic deprivation, and dependence.
These women are, most of them, in fact, 75% of them were abducted. They were abducted, they were forced into marriage, and then turned into sex slaves, and they are coming back. Most of them are coming back with babies, and some of them are coming back pregnant. But now when they come back, they are being rejected, they are being stigmatized. Even their own families have rejected them.
When you see conflict, it's conflict of resources, conflict at power, and we need elections. All this is about surrounding access, and the women don't have access. So what they want when they sit at the table is to bring another language in the discourse, is to say, no, we want schools, more schools, we want health centers for ourselves.
The euphemism, transactional sex, barely disguises the desperation that drives women and girls to exchange their bodies for food and survival, nor the exploitation and abuse of power that it entails. The protracted and ongoing violence means that the displacement crisis will not likely end soon, and those worst affected by it will continue to suffer inhuman living conditions.
When they move into one place to another, they will be exposed, for example, to sexual violence because they have to cross borders. So the guardians or the guards in those borders are going to ask them for sexual favors in terms of, I will let you pass if you do this for me. Once they are in the new setting, in the refugee camp or whatever, they will be exposed to sexual attacks when they go for water, when they go for food, when they go to the latrines to get changed because they got their menses, their periods. So in all these situations, they're very, very exposed.
A systemic discrimination and abuse of women and subordination through rape, enslavement, abduction, denial of education, forced marriage, sexual trafficking, which have been part of the ideology or practice of several violent extremist groups.
For women, how do we look at women's security as prime in this conversation, and how are women also playing key roles in the area of talking about reconciliation, mediation, and also looking at engaging those who are at the forefront, discussing ways in how to enhance the voices of women who are concerned within this polity. Policy and practical responses to the displacement crisis, from the national to the international, have not been very gender responsive. To cite one example, a tripartite agreement for the voluntary repatriation of Nigerian refugees signed in March 2017 between the governments of Nigeria and Cameroon and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees makes no provisions for the special needs of women and girl refugees. Government needs to partner with the civil society, women-led organizations, research institutions, and the media to bring more women on the table to look at the policies in security, media, peacekeeping, and mediation.
Participation is key for us, particularly for women and girls who have faced conflict. We want them to participate and have a voice, and for their voices to be heard.
If many women are given the chance, honestly, things will be better.
There is such a thing as women's issues. There are issues that are particular to women, experiences that are particular to women on this continent, on the continent of Africa. And these issues require engagement of, responses from women. The women who are affected, and the women who maybe have expertise and knowledge on how to deal with some of these issues.
When women are excluded from mediation and peace negotiations, a lot of critical issues that affect women are not actually included in peace agreements. And yet at the end of the day, women are actually expected to implement these peace agreements. And there's a lot of sole reliance on the participation of women in post-conflict reconstruction, in implementation of peace agreement, and yet they have not played any role in defining that.
What needs to change is the way we look at who are parties to the conflict. That's the first thing. Who are parties to the conflict? You have to see survivors as parties to the conflict. You cannot have somebody come and just mutilate a whole lot of people and say they have nothing to do with this discussion. They have something, they have an interest in this discussion. So that needs to change. The interpretation of who are parties to the conflict needs to change so that women can at least have a place at the table.
That is the only way that the outcomes will be whole-serving, as women also are key in intelligence gathering, community mediation, and are the closest unit in the family, close enough to their sons, husbands, and wards, who are usually the ones who are infiltrated, coerced, or manipulated into agents of Boko Haram and other extremist groups.
If peace building is only an economic gain of a few people and not human development, then we aren't going to find solutions to our problem. We will continue saying, let us silence guns, and guns will not be silenced.
During the interclan wars, we had so many illegal arms coming in. And you know, we have a porous border. So there were very many illegal arms in the hands of the community. And when they are asked to bring these arms, normally they don't want to bring the arms. So we thought it is the best is to use the mothers. The mother, we told them, listen, when war happens, the person who is going to die is either your husband, your son, your brother, your uncle. So if you accept this man and you keep for him his gun, this gun is the same gun which is going to kill either your brother or your uncle or your husband.
And we've been working on mediation and conflict resolution with women peace mediators and peace builders at a district level, and we've really seen that where these peace mediators have been supported with the tools and knowledge required, they've been actually brokering peace in the districts they've been working in.
Women in Africa need to be made priority as the dynamics of Africa's stability takes on new responsibilities with the coups in some parts of Africa and the engagement of the what next conversation. Africa must be intentional in bringing women to the table, and that also means that we must support more women to go into elective positions to increase our voices.
You know, we do a lot of our work in the corridors. It's the corridors where we work now, and this is what we are tired of. We want to be at the table.
You are as equal as you think you are. Whatever you want to be, you first have to visualize it and believe in it yourself. Because if you don't, nobody else will.